Good evening and welcome to Sunset News this Wednesday evening. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather, and sports. I am Glenora Shipura. In the news tonight, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, through its Directorate of Veterinary Services, has commenced its regional farmers training at Mpunku constituency in the Kavango West as part of its fight against contagious bovine leuroform pneumonia. DVS project focal person Paul shares more. Let's take a look.
I'm here to represent the Directorate of Veterinary Services as the focal contact person for our project, which is called the Contagious Bovine Pleural Pneumonia Emergency project, which is together with the FAO. This project is initiated between the Directorate of Veterinary Services due to a need to capacitate our nation, meaning you as farmers and individuals at grassroots levels, on how to identify conditions or clinical symptoms related to contagious bovine pneumonia in Namibia. Thank you once again for making time to be here with us today. And we hope that we're going to have fruitful engagements with you. We welcome all questions, and we hope that after this session, we are going to be much more empowered on how to identify animal-related diseases, and we will welcome any other animal-related diseases, which, especially in this area, we're dealing with ruminants, bovine, goats, cattle, and please feel free, and thank you once more, and we appreciate your courtesy here with us today. Pandu zonene.
Asi edina lya mwana bana litumbura au kuna
President Nangolo Mbumba has applauded Namibians for the order and swift way in which the transition after late President Hage Geingoub's death took place. Mbumba revealed this in a statement on Tuesday, saying the smooth transition highlighted the strength of the country. I remain in awe of your resilience, sense of duty, unity of purpose, and grace in the face of a national tragedy. The dignified and orderly manner in which you conducted yourselves during the past 3 weeks is the greatest honor bestowed on the memory of our dearly departed Commander-in-Chief, President Hage Geingoub. It is a highlight of the strength of our national character. Mbumba thanked the masses of mourning Namibians for uplifting the memory of Geingoub in the way he would have wanted. As President Geingoub would have wanted us to do, our conduct as Namibians was exemplary, and we were able to hold hands in mourning and in honor of his legacy in the most befitting manner. I therefore wish to extend my heartfelt gratitude to you, fellow Namibians, for your consoling messages, gestures of love, and uplifting songs of endearment for Madam Monica Geingoub, the children, the family, and the many people who were touched by the outstanding deeds of a cherished leader of the Namibian people. I also wish to extend my gratitude to heads of state and government leaders and friends of Namibia across the world for their messages of condolences, solidarity, and assistance, including their precious presence at the state memorial and burial. Your expressions of sympathy have been a source of solace while we navigated the difficult period of a national mourning, he said. Now, late President Geingoub was laid to rest by thousands of Namibians, foreign heads of state, and family at the Heroes Acre over the weekend. Moving on, accusing Germany of trivializing the Nama and Ovaherero genocide issue, McHenry Venani, leader of the Popular Democratic Movement, criticized the country for what he perceived as a lack of seriousness. This comes as the back of Germany offering $18.6 billion in reparations as a once-off payment for the Nama and Ovaherero people. This draft agreement has been rejected by the Namibian people and has, in the meantime, also been put on ice. Venani, who addressed the elephant in the room during the memorial service for the late President Hage Geingoub on Saturday, addressing the German President Frank Steinmeier, demanding a respectable and honorable deal, accused Germany of playing ping-pong with Namibia. It was a correct platform. We are bearing a head of state of our country, and one of the issues that are unfinished in his presidency was the issue of genocide. Germany was not coming forth to tell us when they were planning to conclude this thing. The timing was politically correct. Now we have a response from Steinmeier, which we haven't had for months, said Venani. Venani further underscored the stark contrast in Germany's spending priorities, particularly regarding the allocation of funds, pointing out it is questionable that Germany is comfortable spending 300 million euros to restore one of its castles, but a measly once-off payment of 1.1 billion euros for repatriations. You can read more on this story in the Namibian Sun tomorrow. Now let's get into our next story. Teachers employed at government schools across the country may find themselves without any union representation owing to repeated requests from the Ministry of Labour that the Namibia National Teachers Union submit their outstanding annual returns for scrutiny. Namibian Sun understands that the union is making last-ditch efforts to avoid deregistration amid a 23rd of February 2024 cutoff that it submit its papers. Union members are said to be in panic mode over concerns that the ministry will proceed with Nantu's deregistration. Nantu was due to be deregistered on the 23rd of February 2024 by the Labour Commissioner due to perpetual non-submission of annual returns as the law required. They were supposed to have been deregistered long ago, but asked for mercy and were then given until Friday. An official into the matter told Namibian Sun Nantu Secretary General Loide Shanika denied knowledge of the deregistration threats looming over the union. It is news to me, she said when contacted for comment. The Ministry of Labour in an email confirmed it had requested financial statements from the union, but none were forthcoming as yet. The Office of the Labour Commissioner did not deregister Nantu nor any trade union or employers organizations. Of course, there has been a call from the Labour Commissioner to the registered trade unions and employers organization to submit their annual returns. Failing to do so might lead to appropriate actions taken against defaulting entities. One such action is deregistration, ministerial spokesperson Maria Hendimba said. Now, in our Story of the Day segment, the Intermodal Africa exhibition kicked off earlier today in the coast. We'll take a look at this after the break.
Connection. It's in the human touch, the feeling of belonging. It inspires us and empowers us, creates clarity from complexity. It starts new conversations, unlocks the power of advice, and makes an impact on your life. At Alex Forbes, we pioneer insight to provide you with advice that connects your decisions of today to your impact tomorrow.
The Intermodal Africa exhibition kicked off today in Swakopmund. The event is aimed at promoting trade and economic development throughout the SADC region through effective and reliable modes of transportation and logistics, as well as promoting foreign direct investment and international business tourism into Namibia and the region. Minister of Works and Transport John Motora highlighted the impact of ports in the continent. Emerita Shikesho reports.
So our partnership and with the spirit of Pan-Africanism, international cooperation and good neighborliness, Namibia so far has provided dry ports to a few countries in our neighborhood, in the sub-region of SADC, in our port city of Walvisville. I want also to say something about our engagement with stakeholders. We are proactive in doing that. Stakeholders, including the private sector, and I thank you for your contribution, to identify areas for improvement and development strategies for the long-term growth and modernization of the transport sector. By fostering collaboration and partnership with various stakeholders, the government aims to ensure the transport network is not only efficient, but also adaptable. Now this one, I analyzed it to future technological advancements and changing trade dynamics.
Ohorongo Cement donated $4 million worth of medical supplies to the Health Ministry. We take a look at this after the break. As previously stated before the break, the Health Ministry yesterday received a donation of medical supplies from Ohorongo Cement to the value of $4 million. The donated items include hospital beds, wheelchairs, workers' surgical instruments, and several others. The Deputy Minister of Health, Esther Ushiwa Munyangwe, received the donation on behalf of the ministry and said each donated item tells the story of a life that will be saved. The importance of these donations in helping people in need around the world cannot be overstated. When health facilities received donated supplies, they can redirect their limited resources to other areas of need, such as hiring more healthcare workers, improving infrastructure, or investing in training and capacity building, thereby improving the overall quality of healthcare service delivery, she said during the occasion. Sion Amuluvu, logistics manager of Ohorongo Cement, said that since the company's partnership with the Ministry of Health in 2009, the company has invested a staggering $82.9 million for various social projects. I am delighted to mention that more than $69.5 million of the $82.9 million is accounted for medical supplies and equipment, including today's donation. Moving on to our economic news, Finance Minister read the budget tabled for financial year 2024 and 2025. We take a look at this after the break.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
Getting into our economic news, Ipumbu Shimi, the Minister of Finance and Public Enterprises, tabled the financial year 2024 to 2025 budget in the National Assembly earlier today. The national budget contains the government revenue, spending and borrowing plans, as well as key policy priorities. Let's take a look.
15.4 billion has been allocated to the basic education, arts and culture vote in 2024-2025 and 56.1 billion over the medium-term expenditure framework. The budget of the Ministry of Gender, Poverty Eradication and Social Welfare has increased by 23.2% to 8 billion for the next financial year. The budget includes 824.7 million to maintain the real value of the social safety net in the face of high inflation and given the high dependency ratio. Accordingly, the old age grant and disability grant will be increased from 1,400 to 1,600 per annum. We hear you. Honorable Speaker, we fully recognize the dream of our departed President for a significant increase in the old age grant, but we cannot afford to deliver on his dream in a single financial year. Nonetheless, we will continue to work hard towards this goal with gradual increases over time as resources permit. In addition, we have made provision to increase the frequency of food distribution to marginalized communities at the cost of 170 million and 284.5 million to ensure full coverage of the orphan and vulnerable children, those that who have registered for this grant. Over the medium-term expenditure framework, the vote will absorb 24.5 billion. For the youth, the vote of sports, the younger parliamentarians, let's listen to this one. This is for the youth now, so the youth will punish you if you are not listening to this one. The vote of sports, youth and national service has increased by 45.3% to 679.4 million in the next financial year, and a total of 2.2 billion over the medium-term expenditure framework. Allocations have been made to various youth programs to support with skill development and
Let's round up our economic news segment with our financial indicators. The Namibian dollar trades against the British pound at 24.27, against the euro at 20.81, against the US dollar at 19.23, $2.67 gets you 1 Chinese yuan. On the commodities market, copper and platinum went down while gold and Brent crude oil went up. Brent crude oil trading at 0.55%, going for $83.45 per barrel. In international news, South Korea's fertility rate dropped to a fresh record low in 2023. We expand on this on the other side of this. South Korea's fertility rate, already the world's lowest, dropped to a fresh record low in 2023, Statistics Korea announced on Wednesday, defying the billions of dollars spent by the country to try to reverse the trend as the population shrank for a fourth straight year. The average number of expected babies for a South Korean woman during her reproductive life fell to 0.72 from 0.78 in 2022. Lim Young-il, head of the Vital Statistics Division at Statistics Korea, told a news briefing. Now, South Korean residents in their 20s and 30s said financial support from the government and a better working environment to raise children was crucial for the birth rate to stop falling. They also said the lack of guarantees for women's careers once they had children was contributing to fewer births. Since 2018, South Korea has been the only member of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development to have a rate below 1. The South Korean government has made it a national priority to reverse the falling birth rate and in December promised to come up with extraordinary measures to tackle the situation. After the break, we'll be taking a look at our weather predictions.
Connection. It's in the human touch, the feeling of belonging. It inspires us and empowers us, creates clarity from complexity. It starts new conversations, unlocks the power of advice, and makes an impact on your life. At Alex Forbes, we pioneer insight to provide you with advice that connects your decisions of today to your impact tomorrow.
Let's take a look at what the weather predictions look like for Namibia for tomorrow. Katima Mulilo can expect partly cloudy conditions with a minimum of 18 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 34 degrees Celsius. Oshakati and Ruakana can expect some showers, with Oshakati expecting a minimum of 22 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 34 degrees Celsius. Henties Bay and Rehoboth and Marienthal can also expect some showers with a minimum of 18 degrees Celsius for Henties Bay and a maximum of 23 degrees Celsius for Henties Bay as well. We now head over to our sports desk, proudly brought to you by Sports Rep.
International sports news, and starting off with soccer first, it's FA Cup action, and it was Manchester City that beat Luton by 6-2. That goal was played at Luton, a great win for Manchester City, and the big performer in that game for Manchester City was their Norwegian striker, it's Erling Haaland, and Erling Haaland scored 5 goals. Incredible performance by Erling Haaland, and it was briefly 3-2. That was Luton that came closer to Manchester City at one stage, but then it was Manchester City that pulled away to book their place in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. And it is Haaland that now scored 27 goals in all competitions this year so far. And it is Manchester City that try and emulate their season last year when they won the treble. And the treble comprises of the English Premier League title, also the FA Cup, and also the Champions League. Difficult to do, only been done twice before, but they're in line to do it again. The only setback for Manchester City was Jack Grealish. He's the England winger, so he was injured in the first half, so that is a concern for Pep Guardiola, the coach of Manchester City. Other 2 games that was played in the FA Cup 5th round, these teams also through to the quarterfinals, the last 8, and it's Newcastle that beat Blackburn. They beat them on penalties 4-3, and it was Leicester City that won away at home from home at Bournemouth, and it was a goal in extra time in the 105th minute. It was Abdul Fatawu that scored the winner for Leicester City. On to tennis, and it is the Dubai Tennis Championship for men that's continuing. Round of 32 games that was played. It's number 1 seed Daniil Medvedev, too strong for Alexander Shevchenko, and he beat him 7-6-3 and 7-5. And also there were 2 Frenchmen playing in the round of 32. That was Hugo Humbert that beat Gael Monfils, and the score there was 4-6, 6-3 and 6-3. The number 1 seed is Daniil Medvedev. Number 2 seed in the tournament is Andrei Rublev of Russia. And then number 3 seed is Hubert Hukrats, and he is from Poland. Closing off today's international sports news with rugby news, it is French rugby that is under pressure. That was after a bad performance by the French national men's side when they played Six Nations game against Italy. That was at Lille. That was a home game for them, and they drew the game 13-all, almost lost the game. Last penalty from Italy against the upright, and it was 13-all in the end. But it's France rugby that indicated that the coach, that is Fabien Galtier, his position is not in danger at the moment. There were speculation that his position is under pressure after also losing to Ireland earlier on, and it is French rugby that said that they're looking forward in 2 weeks' time when they play against Wales. That game will be on Sunday the 10th of March. That will be played in Cardiff. That's the next game for France when they play against Wales, and Wales don't have a good season as well. They've lost all 3 of their games in the Six Nations so far. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk international sport again tomorrow.
We are all seeking connection to each other, to the world, to the spaces we exist in.
Poor sportsmanship right now from the lads.
You might be physically ready, your body is ready, but mentally.
Here's another chance, and it is a goal from Vindo Kahan.
Wij zei via is er aan neertrekken. Hij bal lijkt mij gewoon gepakt. Ja, hij is gewoon gepakt. En dan zie.
But just enough next. Shh.
Running that mountain up. Okay, so we will be doing this for the mountain climber. More advanced, slightly advanced.
So is jou trolley reg? Want
I love it. I love it. So then
kickstart our countdown at number 5 with this one. Op Netwerk TV se Klets Kompas gesels ons nuus van 'n Maandag tot Donderdag. Ons kyk ook na die weer en meer. Stories wat jou raak en stories wat saak maak.
They've made a mistake in denying me bail, and they've made several other mistakes in many other cases.
The channels that teach us something new or reflect our expression. So it goes beyond switching to the right station. It's about choosing the experience that can adorn the present, dressing it with our tastes as we expand our preferences, because what we are actually connecting to is boundless, limitless human energy. And this is the spirit of NTV.
And with that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. Do remember that Sunset News screens on DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 25 every weekday and Sundays from 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. I am Glenn Rashipura, and this has been Sunset News.